What's up, guys? It's your girl V with Reality Recap. Here, still catching up on my tea talks. And today I wanted to give you my, as always, unsolicited thoughts on last week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills before we get a new episode in just a day or two. So, sorry I'm late, but I always say I may be late, but on time with my thoughts. So, let's go through last week's episode, shall we? I have my trusty notes right here. So, we start off the episode with Kathy Hilton. She's delivering personalized suitcases with trip invitations in this vintage Rolls Royce. I loved every minute of it. She is always giving rich bitch vibes, and I aspire to that. I really do. It's why I watch The Housewives, right? To escape everyday life and see how are the rich living. And she was definitely giving rich bitch energy as she delivered all of these. She could have, like, I believe, was it Erica that said it or Garcelle that said it, that she could have delivered these, she could have had these delivered, but she chose to do it herself and give out these personalized suitcases in that vintage Rolls Royce. And it's just classic Kathy Hilton. And I enjoyed the fun of that. Um, Moving right along to not so great things, I want to be very clear. I If you're looking for me to give Kyle sympathy for her being sad that Mo has moved out, replaced a picture of her and him on a desk, that he has not gotten a staged apartment, that he got an apartment fully furnished with brand new furniture, as if he's not coming back home. If you are looking for me to give Kyle any sympathy, I don't got it. I don't. Last season, she treated this man like she did not want to be around him. She could not stand him. She was being rebellious and getting tattoos and not saying anything and hanging out with Morgan and all of this stuff. So Mo did not choose to end this relationship. Kyle chose that. So maybe the reality is setting in that this could be over, and that even though they're taking this 6-month break to see where things happen, she's realizing that he may not come back. I don't think he's coming back. And I just don't have sympathy. Yeah, I get it. Reality is hitting, and it's scary, it's different, but you're going to have to stand on business because you asked for this. So Mo seems happy. Um, Every time she asks him a question, he's like, "Yeah, everything's great. Everything's good." And when she's acting all sad, he's like, "Oh, like, girl, shut up. You asked for this." So I'm happy for him. I told you guys I am Team Mo in this situation. I would not have gotten off my throne. She decided to, and I just don't feel sorry for her. I really don't. So those are my thoughts. Maybe harsh, but that's definitely what I'm feeling about the situation. Um, And sidebar, in that conversation with Kyle and Mauricio, Kyle mentioned when they were talking about PK and how he moved in and got his staged apartment that seems less permanent versus Mo that got his apartment fully furnished on his own, which seems more permanent. Um, Kyle was saying how her and PK send memes and funny jokes to each other. That was weird. I'm not doing that with any of my husband's friends. So, not saying anything's wrong with it, but it was just like, hmm, would you want Mo sending funny memes with Dorit all day? I don't think so. A story dropped last night that I don't believe. Let me be clear there. But a story dropped last night on my timeline. I don't know this source to be credible. And like I said, I don't believe it. But allegedly, they put out a story that someone is saying they've been seeing Dorit leaving Mo's apartment or going to his apartment late at night, coming out early in the morning, and that they may be messing around. I personally don't believe that, but that's something that came across my timeline last night that I will keep track of and see if anything comes to light. But it doesn't seem like a credible source to me. Just saying. Um The girls get ready to go on the trip. Pete and Dorit, she's trying to pick herself up because in the last episode, we saw her have a conversation with PK when he was saying, basically, I'm going to be cutting the codependency. We will not be on the phone talking 4 or 5 times a day. And Dorit said they went from talking every day, 4 or 5 times a day, to he ain't calling at all. He in the streets just like Mo, and they having a good time. It's funny how Mo and PK are having the best time and getting along while Dorit and Kyle are at each other's necks every episode. But Dorit already has that on her shoulders. And I do think that's translating into her beefs with Kyle. I really do. She seems like she has found her voice, and she talked about it on Watch What Happens Live, how she's coming in hot. I just want her to have a little bit of that energy for PK. Some of it seemed misdirected. Now, am I on team Dorit in this whole Dorit versus Kyle situation? I am, but a little bit of that needs to be turned towards the man that left your house, got a new apartment, and said deuces on you and your kids. Not saying that not saying that PK doesn't have a right to do that, because I do hear what he's saying. I do think that I told you guys before that Dorit got into this housewives show. She became popular. She needed to dress a certain way. He had to afford that. She became the breadwinner and probably changed the way she talked to him and how she talked to him and how she supports him as, a wife and a husband role. It kind of switches, which we see often on these shows. That's one of my main, honestly, one of the things that I think has split a lot of these marriages is that change in dynamic and roles. But yeah, just have that energy for him too. Not saying you need all that raw for any of them, but everything is being directed towards Kyle, and I think some of it is misdirected. That's all I'm saying. Jennifer Tilly comes in, and you know, she's dripped into pieces, honey. She got her little Louis Vuitton $30,000 boat. She got her little like Louis Vuitton hat case carry on, if you want to call it, the little circle with the little strap. She's carrying that. She's wearing the pieces. And it made me more interested in Jennifer Tilly just because I've known her from the Chucky franchises. I did not know that she was married to the creator of The Simpsons, that in their divorce, she got, I think, 30% or a piece of, she said a piece of, I read 30%, not sure if that's true, of The Simpsons. And she also, gets royalties on that for all the years that the show has been on. She is worth a pretty penny. I did, you can never trust what they say as far as net worths online. I think she's worth way more, but it said online that her net worth was around 50 to 60 million dollars. It could be more because that's never adding up assets and things of that nature, but it could be more. But I definitely am interested in getting to know her and more about her. I think she's a fun comedic relief to the show. I watched her on the after show when she talked about Dorit, and she kind of mocked Dorit, saying how Dorit was saying there's an elephant in the room, and it was just so hilarious. So I'm glad to see her on the show. She brings energy, she brings life. Again, I didn't know so much about her as far as the different shows that she's been on, her royalties from The Simpsons, her ex-husband, he passed away from cancer, just learning more about her, the same as Bose. I'm loving these freshmen across the board. I've seen a few people say that as far as housewives, that all the newbies that we're seeing, like Bronwyn, Bose, having, Gentilly on the show, even though she's not a housewife, just a friend of, the friend ofs and stuff they're giving. Brittany on Salt Lake City with her kooky self, she's giving. The only one that I don't really agree with, I'm not really sold on Katie on OC. I saw some people saying like, oh, she's giving too. Not really sold on her. But for the most part, this freshman class is serving, and I'm here for it. So I'm happy to see Jennifer Tilly. I also noticed how Erica Jane was definitely eyeing her pieces, almost giving jealous vibes. Maybe not jealous vibes, but just That's what I've used to be. That's I used to be able to afford those pieces without even thinking about it. And it's a different life for her now, not married to Tom Girardi. But gotta be careful when people eyeing you like that, child. 'Cause she was definitely like, she was like, I was looking at her pieces. It isn't a pocketbook, it's art. It's like, gotta just watch them a little bit. Love Erica Jane. But she was definitely giving, I want what she has. And you gotta watch people like that. They get on the trip and Kathy lays out the red carpet. I just want one rich friend like that. But she laid out the red carpet just when they came in the house, the beverages, the libations, the food she had laid out. They traveled, they went on the beach and she literally, like Kyle said, had her living room furniture out there on the beach. They had couches and a beautiful spread and place settings. Just she laid out the red carpet. Kathy told you rich bitch energy. She knows how to put together an event, honey. And it was nothing less than what I expected. At the end of the table, they're sitting down at the beach, they're eating. At the end of the table, Dorit and Bose, they're talking. Bose checks in on Dorit, like, are you all right? And Dorit is sharing with her how PK signed this lease without even telling her. She wasn't aware that he was doing that. I mean, you had to be aware he wasn't going to stay in hotels forever. But she was sad about it. I told you guys another recap that I do feel like Dorit separated, thinking that they were going to separate to work on things when she's starting to realize, or it seems like anyway, that PK is separating to move to divorce. He doesn't seem interested in trying to fix it. He is, in my opinion, harboring some resentment in how they argue and the things that Dorit has maybe said to him, the money that he's spent on. Sorry, guys, I muted my mic, but yeah, he just seems to be harboring some resentment there with um with Dorit. So I don't know. They don't seem to be on the same page of the purpose of their separation. So Garcelle, I love Garcelle. She nosy as hell. She always want to be in the know and in everybody's business. So she's like, we're not included in this conversation. Um, we can't know what's going on. And she's also making like Dorit is hogging Bose. If you want to get to know Bose, hang out with her. And Garcelle has been very busy with her production stuff and things like that. We haven't seen too much of her other than coming in and wanting to know everybody's business, like wanting to know what Kyle and Morgan's business, wanting to know what's going on with Dorit, wanting to know what's going on with Bose. But you're going to have to spend that time. I personally like the developing friendship between Bose and Dorit. Um, I caution, just going to be honest here, I caution in on is Dorit hanging out for Bose for all the right reasons. I do think that what Garcelle says, she's a sounding board of someone that has no bias, doesn't know her situation or her marriage, and just someone that's truly listening to what she has to say. A small, small piece of me is always concerned that it's for image. We know that Dorit was accused of some racism. Let's be honest with Garcelle and in the past season. So a small, small piece of me just hopes that it's not just to clear that up that she doesn't have an issue with Black women, but I am I do genuinely like to see them support each other and they seem to be getting along well, and that's something that Dorit needs right now. Just have to be honest with you guys, just a small piece of me is just like, please don't let this be for image. Mm, what else? The ladies go to dinner and Dorit and Kyle, they try to talk again, and Dorit is just not buying the reasons why Kyle is upset with her. And I'm not buying them neither. I also think that Dorit threw Erica under the bus. She definitely threw Erica under the bus by saying, like, yeah, I showed Erica the Watch What Happens Live video, and she was kind of shocked. She thought it was going to be worse. She didn't think it was that bad. And it was like, girl, Even Erica was sitting over there like, oh shit, I didn't know she was gonna do that. Um, and Kyle kind of said that, well, that wasn't the only thing. That was just a small thing. It also seems like to me that Kyle adds on to what she's mad with Dorit every episode. So first you were mad about the Watch What Happens Live, where Dorit was trying to be, in my opinion, cheeky or funny when she was asked who she loved more, Kyle or Kathy. She was like, "Oh, gee, I don't know," and, obviously knowing that her and Kyle are close. And then when Kyle hit her, hit the water on her, she was like, "Well, it's definitely not you now." It was funny. Um, Kyle said that she was upset with that. She also now is upset with Bravo Khan, where the guy, we saw it when it happened. It was all over the place, but she's now upset with Dorit that she didn't stand up for Teddy. When Dorit said in the after show, that's, Teddy is her friend, but mainly Kyle's friend. We don't see Dorit hanging out with Teddy. So she's adding on these pieces of why she's upset when I have already let you guys know how I feel. She's truly it wasn't even an upset. I see it as if her acting upset was more so to mask the fact that she was slowly removing herself from her friendships to see what was going on and developing with Morgan. I don't really believe these reasons that Kyle is giving. I am team Dorit, and Dorit seems to really be able to sniff out like, no, you're really mad because I went on Watch What Happens Live and said that we're not close, because the closer you get to Morgan, the less you're friendly with me. Um, and I do believe, like I said, part of that is Kyle was isolating herself to do whatever she was doing with Morgan. So I feel like, Dorit has her number. She's calling her out, and Kyle is trying to stand her ground with her reasonings, and it was this and it was that and it was this, and it's just, to me,